Okay, guys, this one is personally so triggering for me, but it just keeps showing up recently, so I really got to talk about it. I want to talk about internalized racism. So basically, this is where we have taken negative beliefs about our own race, our culture, our ethnicity, and now they've transformed into the ways we talk about our race and culture, into the types of decisions we make, our behaviors, our whole attitude sometimes. A lot of the time, we don't even catch when this is happening. I'll give you a little bit of a story time. So recently, because of this platform, I've been connecting with a lot of professionals, different areas of the world, different fields, and we always have a little chit chat just to see if we're on the same wavelength in terms of collaborating. So I had a meeting where we were talking about some things in terms of cultural tendencies and how mental health stigma exists in the Punjabi South or even just South Asian community as a whole, and how this can lead to sometimes sweeping things under the rug or maladaptive tendencies, mob mentality, victim blaming, that kind of thing. And as the conversation progressed, I could feel that I was speaking from a space of compassion and the other party was speaking from a space of antagonizing and maybe speaking, looking down their nose at the community. And there was a lot of laughter and poking fun and kind of like a degrading connotation towards some of the things that we see in the culture, in the community. And this never sits well with me, but I can also hold space for it because we have all been teenagers who have loosely thrown around terms like dip, dipper, freshie, fob, fresh off the boat. When you don't know better, you don't do better. But then when you see this happening in professional spaces with people who hold pretty prestigious titles, it can be a little alarming. Underpinnings of internalized racism, well, let's talk about where it stems from. Colonialism. When the British took over in India, they perpetuated their beauty standards, their norms, and there was a lot of bullying and ostracizing and shunning and trying to eliminate a lot of the original cultural practices. This is also where colorism comes from. Then there's the caste system. This also perpetuates that narrative of sometimes self-hate or the idea that one is better than the other. So comparison and being very ego driven or material driven and focused in order to derive self-worth or determine someone else's self-worth can also come from these toxic spaces. Social comparison is also really huge. So because we are mostly village-based mentality where we care a lot about the opinions around us, sometimes we can become not only comparative but competitive. And so putting others down and trying to inflate our self-worth and importance and achievements can also contribute to the internalized racism thing, because we have internalized the idea that Western is better, that Eastern is lower. And so sometimes we can use this as a way to boost our confidence or to feel like we're doing well in life because we think that we have now acculturated so much, not assimilated, not meshed the two cultures, but more dropped ours and adopted the other. Or perhaps we cherry pick elements of our own culture that we like, and then we like to view ourselves more through a Western lens, and this makes us feel better. That can be really problematic too. And it's the way that we form our identity and our confidence and our self-worth. But as you can understand, we're not Western. Our roots are Eastern. No matter if you're born here in Canada, North America, in different westernized countries in the world or not, we are self-abandoning if we are acting out of a space of internalized racism. We might not even notice that we're doing it, but it's really important to just catch the dialogue, the tone of voice, the attitude, the body language, the type of communication we have around new immigrants. We have to remember and keep in mind that at one point, our parents, most of us, whoever's watching this, were new immigrants at one point, and they were the ones being made fun of. They were the targets for racism and stereotyping and had to really take an uphill battle to get to where they are. So now we're speaking from a space of privilege, but it really is self-abandoning to not give respect to our roots. And this is something that just grinds my gears so much. And there's a huge difference in being an advocate and an ally in the community and talking about things in a conducive inclusive, compassionate, productive manner, and then really bagging on the community and talking about and highlighting negative aspects of what goes on in the culture without it being a tactful, mindful conversation. We should never look down our noses on our own people. What are your thoughts and feelings? Have you ever accidentally perpetuated this yourself? Like I said, a lot of times in our younger years, we can be a little lax in our language that we use and the type of humor that we contribute to. Or is this something you've been noticing happening around you as well? Have you noticed some people even making lucrative careers out of self-abandonment and internalized racism or putting down their own community? Let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching. See you next time.